here at 2:30, and I appreciate everyone being able to make it, with the exception of Ron, the new selectman, but we look forward to having him moving forward. Today is April 11th, and it is 2:30. So Robbie, again, congratulations on sitting at the table here with us, and I look forward to moving forward too. A couple things that I want to comment on. First is the budget, and I'm glad that we got through all our budget seasons, and I really appreciated the detail that you gave us presenting the budget and the reasons why the increase was substantial but justified. So thank you for that, and then I want to, I guess, thank our towns for supporting it as well. So it's nice to see that even even at that level of a budget, it's a pretty good deal for what you guys do. So it's
I don't
costing
think
it.
we even had any discussion, did you guys?
Not at all.
Right? It was-
No.
Yeah.
So Bartlett's paying $51,690, and Jackson is paying $34,460. And in addition to that, we approved the ventilators and one other thing that I'm blanking on.
The IV pumps.
Yep. And we ended up starting a capital reserve fund for an ambulance moving forward. We had already had a small balance in there, so we're adding to that. And I know you guys decided not to, but again, that's going to be a discussion moving forward, I'm sure. And I totally understand the timing of things, being that if you order something, it's 2 to 3 years down the line.
Well, 18 months to 3 years.
But once you get it, yeah, it's not approved yet too, so.
Well, no, I'm saying it's 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question that I was thinking of, and I was actually talking to someone about it, as far as money and earning extra money through the ambulance. So this is kind of off the deep end, but have we ever thought about using the other older ambulance to be a transfer ambulance only and see if we can make any extra money? I know you do some
older ambulance?
transfers.
You're saying when we get a new one?
Yes,
Okay,
and keeping that one.
keeping
too.
this one that we have.
Or even
There
doing
is
it
there is
now.
some thought about that. There's also some thought about maybe working a deal with Memorial Hospital,
Yeah,
because they built a barn that's not being used. If we could house it there, and, you know, we'd probably sell it to them or work with some financial deal with them so that they could staff it with paramedics. So if we needed to do that, we wouldn't be paying the medics, they would be.
yeah. I just feel like
But yeah, we thought about it. We turned all
trying to come up
options.
with some alternative ways, because Medicaid's gonna be dropping and some of the funding is gonna be decreasing. I wonder
We
if.
might as well just shut it down because it's useless.
The issue
now.
becomes most of those patients are Medicaid patients already anyways.
Right.
So you get
The transfer
reimbursement.
patients?
Yeah, on the transfer patients, you get into the reimbursement issue as well as staffing issues.
So it has to be private pay. I mean, you have to make a deal that's gonna be private pay.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
insurance, if you're gonna make.
Some insurances will pay, you know, a regular
But
insurance.
really, if you're gonna do it and make money on it, it's gonna have to be
Right.
some kind of private pay arrangement, right? And to make it worth your time and the value of it. And then, of course, I'm sure it's putting more miles on an older truck.
And we
Okay.
did have, last year, we did have one person that we took to back from Boston, back and forth, and that was a substantial amount of money, but
Yeah.
we told them up front it was private pay. There's no, you know,
Yeah, we had that deal with my dad when we moved to New
Right.
York, and we knew up front.
so, I mean, because that was numerous trips, and ended up, we got a pretty good return on that one.
Yeah, I
Well, we're just looking for different revenue streams, right? And, you know, we're working with the hospital. There are times when they made promises, and we're trying to do a written contract with them now. That if we promise to do certain things, they'll promise to pay us if there's no insurance and that kind of stuff.
okay,
So we're trying to get that.
yeah, and any.
So at this point, they're willing to pay the Medicare rate for anybody who is uninsured
Mhm.
or who the insurance doesn't deem it necessary, medically necessary, but they don't have a bed for it. So they're willing to, we bill them, we bill Memorial, and then they, after a long time, they pay us. But we haven't got anything firm.
Yeah,
It's just, at this point, it's just
Sort of
their word and
handshake,
our word, and we feel that because they're so slow in getting it done, that we really need to have something. Gorham has a contract with, Berlin has a contract with AVH,
Yeah.
where they transport a psych patient somewhere else, they pay them. There's
We
no-
just got requested today a similar thing to Concord. They're sitting, right now, we're at the school, we had a school meeting today. We've got another meeting after that, and I can't commit to anything,
Mhm.
but we'll talk after this meeting's over.
So on something like that where you're looking at drawing up a contract, whose responsibility is it to draw up the contract and review, et cetera?
It would be theirs, Matt Dunn and Diana McLaughlin.
And then who reviews it on our end?
I believe Rick. Actually, I think we all three signed it last time. No, we didn't sign anything.
No, we didn't.
We all agreed to it.
Yeah,
at the
if
meeting.
you ever need any legal consult or something, I think you should come to us as the towns and
Right.
see and make sure that it's, and you're not missing anything, being that they have lawyers and we don't necessarily, so.
Yeah, it's
due
just,
diligence.
it's semantics, basically what it is. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of, with juveniles with mental illness that have to go. And they generally are on Healthy Kids or New Hampshire Healthy Families,
Right,
and they don't pay.
yeah,
They will pay maybe $300, $400, and it costs us more than that to even do the trip.
right.
And
Even words of the state won't pay us, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
I guess I just wanna make sure we have our insurance covered, not our insurance for what we're gonna collect from insurance, but more of our liability for that and making sure we're covered. Bob?
It's interesting discussion. I mean, being the last of the original thinkers, I would be really curious to see what that contract looks like up in Berlin and Gorham
Yeah.
and how it works between those two
Right,
parties.
that's what I was-
and
so-
whether or not they both
If
like
we
to
could get
do
a
it
copy
or-
of that.
How I understand it is they actually have a truck dedicated to AVH. So they are paying hourly employees to
Sure.
sit there and wait
Yeah,
until a transfer would go out.
Yeah.
But they're different than we are because they are paying
Mm-hmm.
hourly employees to be there, we're not.
right, right.
With that said, for us to say, we'll accept the transfer, we try to make sure we're gonna get some recovery money out of it. And we also have to have other people stay in town.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if Robbie and I decided we could do this thing and help the state out,
Right, and we,
I
we
would
have,
have to call,
Okay, I
excuse
think,
me, Kevin Bennett or somebody else.
and we don't wanna micromanage what you guys are doing, I think what we're more concerned about is the black and white part of it, so if
Oh,
you
sure.
can get a copy of the contract
But we don't have
and
it
all.
yet, but we'll get it from.
Yeah, if you can
Yes.
get a copy of the contract from Berlin and get the copy.
Knowing it'll look different, understanding the
Yeah, but
situations
that's
have
what-
differences.
and it's supposedly there's
Require adaptation.
grant money
Mm-hmm.
for psychiatric patients. It started in February.
Right,
So I've asked them, at Memorial, to get us the details on that, so
I think
we
it's
can
a state of New Hampshire grant though.
I think.
And it's not
I
for
thought
a
it would be
patient,
them.
it's, if you're willing to do this, they'll give you blocks of money, which could be a good deal, because there are times when we can't do it anyway, because of lack of personnel, or the town coverage, because we will not leave if the town isn't covered.
Right.
understood.
Good.
Yeah, so if you get anything and feel like passing it
Mhm.
through to us, just send it directly
Yeah,
to Julie and she can
and
send
And
it.
that's why these meetings are important, and thank you for coming back.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago, we really had to draw a line in the sand because they left us hanging out there with a few,
Mhm.
about $7,000 worth of money, and I'm like, we just can't do this, so
Mhm.
we came up with a date and said, either you get us the money and you get something resolved with us, or we're done, we can't do it. And
Mhm.
we felt bad doing it because, you
I
know,
know, it's not about the
they're
patients.
they're in a hard spot.
Why did you feel bad about that?
We feel bad because it leaves the community without the service.
Oh, they should pay for it.
Oh,
We feel bad
Right,
for
that's
the
why
patients, that's why.
We ended up doing it because of that, but we were leaving patients that need a higher level of care in the hospital doing that.
right.
All right, go ahead, Jean?
Well, are we
Yep, go ahead.
all set with that, or I don't?
I am, yeah.
I think so.
The ventilator,
Mhm.
there's a little bit of an issue.
Well,
There
there
is,
is,
because, well, okay.
the problem, it isn't a
Just
problem.
so you may not know this,
Yeah.
because we just found out about it today, we got the invoice.
Right,
And the invoice we have is for $11,856.27,
Mhm.
which is.
but the $5,500 maintenance, we're going to pay that. When I looked at the bill, I didn't even think about it when I forwarded it to you, but we did not, when we budgeted, we did not budget for the 4-year,
Yeah.
$5,500 maintenance fee.
Right,
So we will draw a check to Zoll for that to accompany your half and Jackson's half.
And then you'll have enough for the IV.
And that'll be enough for the
We'll
ventilators.
have, we have the IV, we'll pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay,
have you pay for it and we'll give you the check.
So we'll be
The
back
50.
on our original amount of 12.
Yes.
It was $12,000.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah, I understand. I should have looked at it before I sent it off.
That's right, make sure Jean's looking at things, right?
She looks at numbers pretty good. One thing I'd like to do is give you a snapshot of yesterday, just a day in the life of a volunteer. Yesterday, we started with a fire that took a little bit of time. Then we got a phone call from the visiting nurses that wanted us to move one of our residents in hospice care back to her sister's home, also in one of our towns, for care. We took care of that, and then we had a call for a guy that had left surgery and had some sort of bleeding issue. We went to that, and then shortly after that, we ended up with a call that was respiratory difficulty, falling down, ended up being CPR, ended up being saved. And then from there, we ended up moving on to another call for service to help somebody get in their house. So that consumes a full day, and that's on top of doing a subdural brain bleed for one of ours the night before, so Robbie got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of stuff happens in a short period of time sometimes. Today we've done the school meeting, we've done this, and potentially have a trip to Concord if we accept it. We may not accept it.
Yep, you never know until when you wake up in the morning, right?
Now, do you know you're dead if you wake up in the morning, and do you know you're dead before you wake up?
I'll let you know.
So I just follow.
Go ahead.
So, Mary should call you when she's ready to send this check, and you'll give her a check to send.
Yes, I will send her, I'll send out a check for $5,500. Whoever's gonna do,
Well, I assume the check
Is
should
it-
do
is-
that
yeah.
after.
Did we get a
Correct.
copy of the invoice too?
the total invoice is almost
No.
24,000.
Do we have a copy of it in our
I do.
office?
They have a copy in the office as a copy.
Okay,
And I will make a check out to Zoll and actually take it down to Mary because the mail has been so
Well,
bad.
I'll wait for her,
Okay.
but she can call you, because I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
how
fine.
long
Yeah.
she'll be.
Yeah,
and
she
how
sent me
long-
an email and I didn't have a chance to reply until I.
Okay. Very good.
all right. One more, go.
Is that okay?
Sure.
It is.
I don't know if it's where we stand, you were looking for a letter regarding an ambulance, so
Yeah.
so we called, we wrote
Mhm.
here, and that was, so far, that hasn't happened, do you still want
I
that?
would like one if we can get one, that way we can get it started earlier. We're
Jackson
not gonna have
discussed
to pay
this
for it
at all?
for a couple of years anyway.
Yeah, we wanted to see an actual hard quote, I
I
think.
thought we already sent that once.
think you
but
did send
That's
that,
already
but
changed.
I didn't.
so.
Let me follow up on that then.
Okay.
For then, just to bring you in the loop, new ambulance, we got a quote for it. We didn't approve it, neither of the towns approved it for purchase, but we wanted to have,
Yeah.
Rick wanted a letter from each of the towns saying that he'd go ahead and order it, but there would be an out, because we can't commit to it unless the funds are available. We went through this with the fire truck a couple of years ago, so a letter saying that he can go ahead and order
Mm-hmm.
it, but if the town doesn't approve it when it's ready, the
Yeah, we
funds
sell it
would
for
be available.
$40,000.
And I was gonna say, you said you don't think that would be a problem because they can easily turn it on to.
Will not be. They're so slow in production that if we say the day it comes in that we don't want it, somebody else is gonna snatch it up because the
Right.
waiting list is incredible. It's
Maybe
like
we
3
can
years.
get one of those from someone else.
Right?
They'll
But
pay-
like
they'll pay a
I said,
premium
Fire
for it.
sale.
The price goes up.
Well, you know what, it's thanks to you guys, honestly, I think Bob Thompson probably experienced this a little bit when he did his clinicals with us. We buy good equipment. We've got some of the best gear in the valley, bar none. And it
Mhm.
paid off last night.
Well, we take care,
And,
we, meaning you guys, take care of your equipment, so does the fire department.
So can I finish,
You may.
are you
Go
gonna
ahead.
do this?
I will get it done for Jackson.
Well, it comes from both towns, right?
Right.
From the Battle Jackson ambulance. I don't care, I just need to get,
I
we
don't
can
know.
do one too if you want.
I think it should come from each of the towns, being that each of our budgets are gonna be
Yeah,
impacted,
sure.
my opinion. But we can do a joint one
Okay.
that says signed by each of the chairmen, any,
When is the ambulance gonna be
If we order it now, it'd be minimum 18 months, and that's if a lot went right with microchips and they're not yet.
Okay,
So it
so
could be anywhere from 18 months to 3 years.
fall 24.
25.
Literally
25.
But even if we were to do two separate letters, I think they
Should
should
be.
go
Yeah,
together,
they should.
right,
Right.
because then it's gonna be very
Yeah.
confusing
Yeah.
for
Right.
them, yeah.
Right.
Just nothing that's without, okay. Contingency. All right, let me work with Julie's to get that done, and then we'll get it to you, Rick. Let's say we'll do that by Friday, that way you can move
It'd be
forward.
next, doesn't have to be by Friday.
I just wanted to put a date on it and get it off the agenda though.
Will you send us a copy of
Yep.
yours so we could use the same language? I think
Yes.
That's a
yeah,
great
yeah,
idea.
well, we
Yeah.
don't wanna confuse the people getting it.
Right.
Change the
Yeah.
time and time.
Align it all, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a great idea.
23CC2. Okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
Vicky?
So
Anything?
we are on schedule to hit about, how many runs?
So last year we did about 625 runs. This year we are looking about 20% above where we were last year at this time. So we're looking at 775 at the moment, which is a significant increase. It'll increase payroll and everything that goes along with that, obviously. With that said, we're really looking down the barrel of what we want to do for the future. Do we need, do we need full-time staff, everything? Volunteer model is really not going to work as we look forward years from now. So we need to look and really have a plan for how we're going to transition and move forward. Look at that.
You're talking about a calendar year when you say up 20%.
For the calendar year, so year to date, we are 20% above where we were at this point in April of last year.
So on your roster of volunteers that you have now, how clean is that roster as far as folks that haven't done a run in forever? I know you have a roster that has names on it, and you have your payroll that people you have paid, but have you paid people that have only been at meetings but not signed on for shifts, and are there people that haven't done shifts?
Most of the
in
people that
years
come to
or-
meetings actually take some shifts.
Well,
Maybe
people
not as many as we'd like, but
auxiliary
there are
that may be in
taking
town for, 6 months, or maybe in town for 3 weeks. But we keep them on the roster because we can use them when they're here.
Mhm.
I mean, if you take them off, then you gotta pay $48.25 again to get them back on.
Yeah, you have to be
And
refilled.
that's an interesting thing state-wise. The fire side is $25 for a background check. It's the same state trooper that does the background check. Why is ours $48.25? And then we find out, as a nonprofit, we're supposed to be getting it for free anyway.
Mm.
Where's the check?
Interesting.
I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of things you find out by accident, so we don't know, we've been paying more than. And can I ask a question about background checks?
Sure.
When you do them for fire guys, do you see the results of it?
No,
Yes.
We don't.
I don't think we do.
I think they do.
I know we do.
I will
Yeah.
find
I
out.
believe
We're the ones that have to, we're the ones that have to approve them, so.
No, if
I
I
know.
put
I'm not
something
gonna
in
approve
for
something
total
I don't
background
see.
check for EMS, the state of New Hampshire licensing bureau sees the results, but I don't. And we have, on occasion, caught felons trying to work with us that we've said no to that the state approved.
Will you ask why you don't get it?
Yeah, it's just not our.
I believe the way that's
business.
written
We
in
have to
law,
pay
you can
for it.
only authorize one person to be the receiver. So because the state receives it, we can't.
And they issue an actual
Because I
license.
just
Fire
filled
guys
one
don't-
out, and
Right.
at the bottom, I had to sign permission for the town to get the
Right.
results,
I'll
so,
find
but
out
only
from
one
Jay.
person can get the
That's
results.
my understanding.
There was only one line there, so
Yep.
that makes sense.
Let me ask about that, because I don't think we, as the Board of Selectmen, see them. I think Jay sees them, and Julie.
I would think the board would probably not check that. That's probably. But it just, it doesn't make any sense to me that it's almost all this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jay, you see the results of your background checks?
when you have to run a background check on a prospective employee, do you get to see the results, or do you just say that it's done, and
It just comes as it's done.
do you ever request to see them, or do they say yea or nay?
When we hire, the background check gets done, and then Julie sends me a thing that says it's good to go. I don't think we've ever gotten, remember what they tell you if there's something on there. They must tell you what it is, because you have to know a reason.
Yeah, I'll find out from Julie then, final answer on that one, just out of curiosity. So, I guess getting back to the roster then, I know you're always looking for new volunteers and how's
Trying to
recruitment?
get Thompson involved here.
Yeah, how's recruitment going though with that?
Pretty good, I think he's thinking about it.
Oh,
Got him.
I think we're doing fairly well, but I mean, honestly, at $35 for a 12-hour shift overnight, that we do get paid a little bit more when we go out on calls, but it's hard to entice people
Yeah,
at that rate.
And it's hard for people in general, I mean, some of them have 2 or 3 jobs, so
Mhm.
they can't commit the time. It
right.
isn't the good old days anymore, where you had one job and you could leave that job if there was a call, and
Mhm.
that just doesn't work anymore, so
Yeah.
it's definitely, and the younger kids are much more, into realizing that they only have one life. We learned this late,
Mhm.
so we gave up a good portion of our lives to do this, and they know better.
Are you looking at a model, you brought it up earlier, that maybe would have a different compensation?
I have some numbers I sort of picked out of the sky, but it would raise payroll significantly.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I think it was $50 for a 6-hour shift, and then 25 for each run after instead of 35 for a 12, and then at the moment it's either 31 for going out to a patient and not bringing them to the hospital,
Right.
or 70 for bringing them to the hospital.
Yeah, I'd love to see your,
Mhm.
your spreadsheet or whatever.
Yeah.
I get excited about spreadsheets, but, yeah, that would be good to look at, and I just wonder if you enticed people more, if you would be able to weed out your roster of the folks that maybe really are enthusiastic about
Right.
wanting to volunteer and serve, so.
I might be
Yeah,
able to,
we
but
could.
I don't know that anybody
Yeah.
really knows. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody specifically looks in the roster and says, oh,
Yeah,
they don't need anybody.
yeah. And you mentioned as far as possibly full-time staff, I know you're getting paid how much for your assistant director? And you're getting paid how much to be a director?
The assistant director is $100 a month.
And you're getting
In
paid?
total, I forget phone calls 24 hours a
Yeah.
day.
So, I think that's something that we should look at seriously in the future, or I think over the next year before we do our budget season for the
Mhm.
next year, to see what situation we're in. I know we increased the budget significantly, but if there are ways that we can
But that was
subsidize
after
that
7
through
stagnant
other
years, too.
revenue. Excuse me?
That was after 7 level funded years.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I would be interested to see, no promises of course, but it would be
Right.
nice to see what you look at for
Yeah.
analytics.
And do your folks get paid for the trainings when they come into the
Yes.
trainings?
Yes, I believe, is it 10 or 11?
For training, it's $10 now.
$10?
I went to last week's training and
Yeah.
it was wonderful. The quality of the training was incredible, but what I was really impressed with was how you all are a team, how collegial you are, how it was hilarious but always appropriate. I was so impressed. I look forward to coming back.
So, Robbie, your background is in what?
So I have a bachelor's degree in biology and computer science with a concentration in bioinformatics, as well as my advanced EMT.
So I think that succession planning and training, like we talked about a little bit at the last meeting, and knowing that we really want to groom somebody like you to come into the picture, so you guys can think about slowing down and not spending 24/7 at the station. I think it would be worthy also to look at what kind of management trainings and other things can be available either through the state or whatever, that either are not costly or free, or anything that's available through
Or we
like
should send him to
Sherby
get his
Bespoke
master's degree.
or not.
It's gonna be
I just
anytime.
paid off my son's school at some time.
And I've been training someone to do the payroll and
That was
to
my
do
next-
the billing.
Yeah, so that was my next
So
step
that,
of asking you.
because never should have been that I'm the only one that knows how to do it.
Right, so who is your backup?
Hmm?
Who is your backup for?
Caitlin Daly,
And Caitlin is,
she's in school,
Mhm.
she's in college right now, so she comes up on weekends. And,
was Caitlin,
yes.
removed from the roster one time before?
yes.
Okay, I'm,
She She wasn't really removed from, she just took a leave.
Okay. Are we comfortable with that?
Yes, that was,
I just, I
Completely.
don't wanna go, you know,
No.
we're in a public session, so
no,
I just wanna.
we're completely comfortable with everything that, you know.
Okay, so then moving past that note, so you have someone that's a college student that's coming up on weekends. Is she going to be committed to this role, or is there someone else that should be doing it that's permanently here, or someone that, you know, I don't know, I want you to think about that as far as.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
I'd be happy to.
it isn't difficult,
Mhm.
it's just consuming, time
Mhm.
consuming, that's all,
Yeah,
so.
okay, keep
But
in
I've got
mind
a
all
plan
these
book all made up so that, whoever steps in can, you know,
procedures.
she shouldn't be able to do it, I couldn't do it, then Robbie could do it, Chip could do it, you know.
How do you do payroll? What system do you use, or do you do it manually, or is it on QuickBooks, or
I'm sorry?
how do you run payroll? Is it on QuickBooks, or is it manual?
One QuickBooks.
Okay.
I had it on, I did an attempt with QuickBooks Online, and that was a nightmare. It was way expensive, it was $200
Yeah.
something a month,
Yeah,
and it was for every deposit you made, it was so much, and then the deposits were made automatically, like from incoming insurance companies. You had no idea who they went for. I
yeah.
mean, I spent more time just
Cleaning up.
researching what they had posted than it was worth it. I was pulling my hair out, and I'm like, I can't do this, it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
that's the dark side of it, but we can't tell you who we're paying for, what we're sending money.
But am I correct, the payroll is relatively easy, it's the billing and
Yeah.
the insurance companies that's.
Right,
Most
the
of the time
billing
consuming.
itself, the billing program itself is very easy.
Mhm.
It's the follow-up afterwards.
Right.
It's chasing down every reason that they've denied you to keep your money for 6 months. You know, it's almost every
Every
insurance claim has something that you have to go back and look at and
Mhm.
try to figure out why they didn't pay you.
Okay. Any questions, guys?
No, that's pretty much the vital cause of how insurance works in our country.
Right.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, unfortunately, not something we're gonna be able to solve here.
Right.
They take your money, they build buildings, and occasionally you pay a claim.
They find ways to not.
And people don't
reimburse.
know, you know, they have no idea that Medicare, and the Medicare Advantage is one of the worst ones, because there is always a deductible, usually $250, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They figure their bill is paid, and why do we owe $250?
Well, the other thing is when you're in an emergent situation, you're not gonna ask for their credit card when you're,
Right.
you know,
Mm,
Yeah, we don't have to look at
keeping them
pre-approval
alive.
and.
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. Oh, sorry, could you just pay your deductible up front? Yeah.
But we're not the only ones in the same boat.
I know.
Frank County Life Squad just went out of business,
Yeah.
probably 2 months ago, they just on one Thursday said, has it been like, we're down to pulling the plug now. Littleton, although they don't really want to, covers, I think Sugar Hill, South Franconia, Franconia, and Cannon Mountain. And they've only got a couple trucks doing it, they don't really want to be doing it, but
Mhm.
hopefully we don't get into that. But we're kind of in the weeds with some of the vendors around here doing that too, so. People saying they can't help her.
Well,
We've been very lucky as far as mutual aid goes. You know, we're
Right,
certainly-
well, any night, we can be on the cusp of that too,
Yeah.
because they only have one, North County only has one truck. And if their one truck is out and we need the backup,
So, action?
Huh?
Action?
yes, then we're out of luck. So,
But so far we've been.
so far, it's,
All right, how's I see the budget and the expenses so far, everything looking pretty much on target, any surprises?
yeah, I think it's not too bad. I mean, I still have a lot out waiting for insurance. I just got a $7,500 check from Memorial to add to revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But Medicare is what it is, it pays little, Medicaid pays pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
And we have to accept that, there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
If they say we'll pay you, the bill's $1,000, we'll pay you $300, you have to accept that, that's the way it is, so.
And that's the sticky wicket, honestly, with Memorial part, because if Medicare pays anything, well, you have to accept that.
yep, I know, you can't balance
But
bill or anything.
I think we've come at least to an agreement at this point with maybe we can do some private pay stuff.
Yeah, if you guys come up with any ideas or anything, or we do, anybody, you know, pass it along, because I think we can think out of the box and be more creative. And then, I was talking to Nancy Clark a couple weeks ago, and I'm on the board at Gibson Center, and we're actually doing a senior expo tomorrow night at the Whitney Center, because we did a town survey, and one of the things that was highlighted was that we need more senior services. What I'm getting to though is when I was talking to Nancy, she said, oh my God, I can't believe all the work that your fixer-upper guy did in this person's house that fell, and it was a lift assist that you guys were on. And she said, this guy Adam that we have full-time at the Gibson Center will help any seniors with home repairs, putting grab bars up and things like that. So, yeah, he'll do anything like that. So if you come across folks that are in need, because I know you do so many lift assists, if there's anything that you guys need, call on Mary Ann or you know, anyone at the Gibson Center and see if that's something that we can help with too. People don't know about
Right.
maybe, so be sure to keep that in mind. And if you know anybody who wants to come to the expo to see what we have, it's not just the fixer-upper stuff, but it's any programs and things that we can get restarted after COVID. So hiking groups and things like that. But thanks for all you guys do to help the.
They also do the window inserts program.
Yeah, those are great. Yeah, the window treatments. So.
The tornado is in.
I don't know, big storm. Did we have a little concern about the ad that was put in for the Jackson Police Department?
Mm-hmm.
It said they provided medical emergency services. We just got it.
So we're gonna put an ad in it, we're looking for EMTs, and we're gonna provide.
We just don't want people to think that we're not in business, I guess is what, I mean, I know it sounds petty,
Well,
but when you read that,
yeah.
to me, it looks like Jackson has their own emergency services program.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous because people actually go to the police station in the middle of the night thinking there's somebody there to help them, and there isn't.
Yeah.
So we're doing very
I'll
bad.
talk to Chief Burley about.
It was in the,
It's in the
the
Conway
Conway
Sun.
ad for the police department.
Okay.
Just
And
says we
I
provide
think the reason why he put it there is
police
because
protection and medical
Because
emergency
he has
services.
he has the officers certified
Mhm.
for
But
EMTs. So,
Bartlett does too,
yeah,
so.
yeah. I'll
Well,
talk
the way
to Chief.
Bartlett worded it was we provide support to the ambulance service, not we provide emergency medical services.
Gotcha.
It's just different, because our people look at it and they realize they're getting paid to go to the police academy, and they get paid another month's paid salary and for the schooling and so on, and then they're coming out and we're getting none of that.
Well, they could become police officers if they
They
want.
could
We
be.
still need one.
They
Bob,
get
you
shot.
interested in that?
No,
No. I appreciate that. No, I do, I'm not brushing it off. I'll appreciate. Yeah. No, I appreciate the semantics of that too, because it does look like we're without ambulance service. So I'll talk to Chief about that
Well,
and
we
see
do,
how he
we
interprets
tried
it.
to work together in the beginning, and he wanted to be his own agency, so he is. He's his own treatment transfer service,
Well,
which means he's supposed to be doing census reports. I don't know whether he is or not.
okay. Anything else, guys?
No.
Jake?
I figured while the bosses were all together, I could give you a radio tower
Yeah.
update, which happened today.
Okay.
So today, we went up, Austin Mountain went up today and fixed the antenna, fixed the radio. So there's a new antenna up. The one that we ordered, I don't know, must be still in Beijing somewhere. They had a different, they just got in a different style for other project they're doing, and they knew we were limited with time to be able to get up there, like, between now and Friday, or it's over with because of mud, because it's still snow.
Mm-hmm.
And then once mud hits, I'm not gonna go up and destroy their property just to get up and down there, but. So today was the day. So we got a new antenna up that I'm hoping will be the permanent antenna, so we don't have to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling me that the new antenna, the new style is just as good as the old one we had, or just as good as the one we were gonna put up. It works as of right now. The radio got reprogrammed, the new radio the issue we were having with losing some audio and some tones is supposedly fixed. That adjustment, whatever you wanna call it, got changed. Mount Washington Observatory was up there with us today and made sure they came up so we were all sitting in the same little room.
Good, I was gonna ask that.
They do have some equipment that they've got some issues with, that it's shut off still, and they've gotta kind of completely rebuild their thing to make it so it doesn't spit out any, what do you wanna call it?
Interference.
Interference, that's the word I'm looking for. So hopefully we're good to go.
But while you were testing that today, we were at the Bartlett School, so in the back by the Catholic Church project thing, cement walls and brick walls around us, and on a handout, we could talk to Kevin.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work better.
That's good.
Actually, Chief Purley was in Bartlett, and he buzzed over to River Street, where we've had troubles not getting out, even with a mobile. Portables, we're just not gonna solve that all the time. Might get a little better. But Chief Purley got out on his mobile. We all heard him, where a lot of times we have troubles on River Street. That's a dead zone, and we've known that's been a dead zone for 50 years.
Is it just River Street or the entire backside?
River
of the
Street, and there's like Pete Bloom lives is a bad section. And then of course, Parks Location, Crawford Notch. So, long story short, it's fixed,
Nice.
hopefully for many years to come.
Yeah.
We'll see. Whatever lightning or whatever hit that new antenna, or that 2-year-old antenna, when we took it down a few hours ago, I'm guessing lightning hit it because where the fiberglass is glued to the aluminum at the base was all, almost like it melted the glue. So Mount Washington Observatory is doing what they can. That shouldn't be an
Did
issue.
you know why the observatory's up there?
Yeah,
Um,
follow that.
Yeah.
we're back in business.
Good. Gene?
When you say new antenna, is it a new antenna or new to us
Right.
antenna?
Brand new.
Oh, okay.
It's just a different style.
Okay, no,
I
that's fine,
actually-
I know we were looking at it.
I actually like it better. It's shorter and it's got these elephant ears on the end of it, kind of looking things. The big tall whip one, the specifications for each one is plus or minus 5 miles an hour for wind. It's like 150 miles an hour. It's supposed to be good for, but, so I think this one's gonna work better.
So the one that was ordered that's still in Beijing, that's canceled now, we're not waiting
That's-
for?
It'll
Yeah, that's
be
there.
Okay, that's.
possibly mountains.
Okay.
So
And-
we're back in business.
Access is no issue? I don't know.
No, I met with the new owners a bunch of times and kind of in the same boat as we were with Progen forever. Nobody really wanted to do anything. Pretty much said, do what you want, when you want. I'm really not concerned with it. He's
Okay.
a really decent guy. I don't think anything's ever gonna change, and if it did, then we just take it by eminent domain.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good to know it's been nice. I mean,
Yeah, no, we should be
it could have
good to
been
go.
different.
Is Les Otten the new owner?
No,
Okay, all right. He bought.
No, it's just
The
It
new
was
owner
April
what?
Fool's Day.
person.
Oh, that was, okay. I only read it
So-
online, there you go.
So the next step is at some point between now and August, we gotta update the 25-year-old solar panels, which was part of the budget. And
Which
then,
museum are those going to?
Those, that'll be coming up sometime between now and August.
Okay.
And then a matter of the other items for future, the study and the, whatever.
I know we have a radio
location
meeting
stuff.
coming up too. And then we have a radio meeting in a couple weeks too, I think.
Yes.
Is it next week? Yeah.
I believe next Monday.
Anyway, it's fixed.
Good,
Nice.
good to know. And it's better. New
So
and improved.
we'll be getting billed from Osprey Mountain soon, I'm sure.
Solar panels, you said, are those on order or?
Not yet. We gotta figure out exactly what he's gonna order for panels. Cause the new one's, a smaller panel puts out more wattage, so. And they're working fine right now, it's just, they do
Just
have
has
some
the
age
light,
on
end
it.
of the life of the panel.
30-year-old panels.
Right.
I need to check, I don't recall us getting a request for solar panels.
It was in the budget, so that,
Well,
I guess.
what do you mean the budget? When you say the budget, you mean you?
Oh, I know there was discussion between, I know Kevin generated an invoice to give to Jeff to submit to you guys, so whether or not.
We haven't seen anything about, I haven't seen anything about solar panels, have you?
No, well, this would have been before.
This would have been back in December.
Yeah, but I don't recall, I know we got for the antenna, because we
Yeah.
budgeted for that.
Well, I know.
But I don't recall, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'll check and see.
Yeah, I know, we got the stuff to Jeff, and there was a lot of conversation back and forth, so where it went from Jeff to you guys, I'm not sure. I know, I thought it was in there, because I
It
thought you
may
guys.
be, I just don't recall.
Yeah, I thought you guys had a $5,000 budget number, which would be the couple thousand plus or minus for the repair, and then a couple thousand plus or minus for the solar panels. So that,
But the antenna is in that too, right?
no, that's the repair.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Okay, so.
Well, I'll check. I just wanted to mention it right now.
And what about the batteries, do you change those out?
Those are good for a few more years.
And the solar panels are operational now, the ones we
Yes.
have there.
Yes. They're operational, they're just 25 years old, so,
Right, so, yeah, I think,
rather than wait till middle of February and, stay ahead
on
of
the
it.
windy,
Yeah.
windy glove.
And then at some point, we'll just have to figure out what's
Supposed to be, it's gonna go till,
That's right.
The solar panels?
I got there and changed this up.
Yeah,
for me.
really.
All right.
Has there
so
been any
Thursday.
thoughts on the Hearts location side of things for the future in the study, or we just haven't gotten there yet?
I haven't, yeah, I don't know, I haven't talked to anybody on that end of it. Is anyone gonna be coming to the meeting from Mark's location?
Well, I
Maybe
think-
check with
I think if we're gonna have I definitely think if we're gonna have a radio committee or group, whatever you wanna call it, meeting, it would definitely be good to try to get somebody from Hearts location there to say, just make them aware of what's coming, or at least what should be coming.
Do you wanna, maybe you and Jeff work on that and make sure someone from Hart's location is gonna come to the meeting Monday?
Yeah,
4 o'clock?
definitely leave that up to Jeff, that's his meeting.
Do you wanna just nudge him again though?
Yeah,
Say it's in his ball,
good.
or in his court, whatever. Cool.
I mean, that's definitely a big item for the future, so
Yeah.
figuring out what's up with it.
Okay. Anything else, anyone? Good. I appreciate all you coming. I'm glad we have quarterly meetings back on the calendar, and if anything else comes up in the meantime, just circle the wagons and we'll chat about it.
Very good.
Glad to have you at the table.
And we'll keep
Did
it
you
just
send
as
the
a reminder.
next
Do you want an ambulance there for your thing at,
I didn't even,
I mean, not necessarily somebody's gonna get hurt, but just
well, if it's a senior expo, what are my odds?
pretty good, most seniors are good.
I think we're
Sometimes
good.
we took a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Sometimes you feel like to see what they're paying for. We did the little kids in school today, actually.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm trying to make it, we were teasing that we didn't wanna have the, we didn't wanna have like, Ferber and White there. We wanted hiking clubs to be there,
The ambulance chase?
So, trying to keep it a little more upbeat than that, but I appreciate it. All right, everyone, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much, appreciate your help.
Appreciate it.
You're gonna ask about that today?
Oh, yeah, I did. Did you